Welcome, Star Wars fans. Here we talk about all things Star Wars with rumors, facts, news, and random shenanigans. Get ready and strap into your Millennium Falcon. This is the Force Choke Podcast.
I'm feeling really good about this movie, at least right now. You know, a lot of people...
now.
Well, yeah, no, a lot of people... I think Tim brought it up. Mm-hmm. I wish he was here to talk a little bit about it, but maybe... I think, Micah, you talked to him off camera about it a couple of days ago, that they're doing reshoots for The Rise of Skywalker. Or he posted it or something. Did you talk to him about that?
I think I remember him mentioning it, but I don't know.
Right, and I think you said something to the effect of, let them do the process. That's almost every movie has reshoots, right?
Yeah, everyone, yeah.
Yeah, and in essence, with a blockbuster movie like this, you probably want to have as many reshoots as possible, and maybe change things a little bit.
Yeah, because you have more or less not a complete project for editing, but you know what the story is going to be. Mm-hmm. You know the beginning, you know the middle, you know the end, and you're like, this is almost there. Like, we need this.
Yeah.
And insert reshoot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, looking back again to Rogue One, that Vader hallway scene was not
beautiful.
Part of the original film.
Yeah.
And I even remember Kevin Smith talking about, watching it, because of course, he got permission, I think, to watch the premiere.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
yeah.
him saying, like, the last 30 seconds, like, sheer terror. Like, of course, I'm paraphrasing, but, reshoots happen for every movie for the most part, at least the big blockbusters, as you already said. And again, it's just another opportunity that we get to ensure that more effort, more thought, more consideration is being put in there to make it a better picture.
Yeah.
Whether that's quality, whether that's story, whether that's whatever.
Right. Saying all that, Sarah, do you feel like reshoots are like, and did they mess this up?
No, not really. Like, I like the way Micah put it. It's kind of like, okay, I'm seeing this is what we want, but if we tweak it a little bit, it's going to be that much better. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm going to bring up Solo, right? They had to reshoot everything.
What do you think? Well, what do you know?
80 to 85% of it?
Right, but it was still a really good film. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, imagine how shitty it would have been if maybe they didn't do the reshoots. They were like, you know what? This is great the way it is. They're going to like it. If they don't, it's mine. Whatever. Mm-hmm. Put it out there.
I don't even know if we can classify it as a reshoot, because I think they only got like maybe 30 minutes into it, and then it was almost like a reboot before the movie even came out. Mm-hmm. I mean, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. I'm not trying to take away from that. I'm just saying that reshoot is like, okay, we need to change a couple things. Like that one's just like back to the drawing board.
They gutted it out.
Yeah.
I think Sarah's on the premise that it was a major reshooting of the entire movie almost.
Yeah. Almost had to change the name of the story. So different for what it was going to be. Yeah. Well, because remember, the Han Solo is going to be like Ace Ventura.
No. Oh, you pretty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, we love you, and our pretty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang loves us too. Hi.
Yeah.
Go the hell away. That's not what we're doing here.
Garbage.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I like the way Micah put it, where it's just like the little fine tuning tweaks to make it.
You're agreeing with me? Hell's gonna freeze up.
I know. Okay.
Could it, and sometimes, and I don't want to say that this is what's happening, but let's say, for instance, we're making a film. We're making that Star Wars movie. Yeah. And you had the Dr. Pepper on the table or whatever, the Diet Coke. Similar to the Game of Thrones thing.
Yeah.
And maybe instead of digitally taking out that item, they're like, you know what, let's just reshoot it. We have time. Let's just reshoot it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Sarah, with reshoots and, things of that nature where you see things on the table that shouldn't be there, like I did mention just recently here, with the Game of Thrones, they had to digitally take out a Starbucks cup.
Yeah, they had to do a lot.
Exactly.
There's
and then
whole after the fact too.
Yeah,
there's whole albums of like laptop chargers.
Yeah, that's
all this stuff that they had to take out.
Micah, you were talking about the movie. Is it With the Plants? with M. Night Shyamalan? Where the whole boom.
Oh my God!
thing
Yeah.
Was there. What was that movie?
What
Not
the movie? The
Signs.
Happening, right?
The Happening.
Are you serious?
So I kid you not. I watched The Happening, and this was in theaters. This wasn't after the fact. Like, this is like the final cut being released to theaters near you.
Yeah.
I'm watching The Happening, and it was towards the end, or I felt like it was in the middle / towards the end kind of thing. Either way, they're sitting down where he's, I think Mark Wahlberg is having a conversation with whoever was living in his house.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like in the top part of the frame, you have the sound boom coming in. Like you see the bright orange, damn fuzzy, cover for for the microphone is just coming into frame.
That's funny.
And they're just kind of hanging there, and I think it was there for like at least 10 seconds or something. And I remember watching the movie just looking around like, are you kidding me? This is what passes? What the hell? Someone needs to get fired. I mean, I'm not an advocate for people getting fired for shit like that, but that's not
They need
something...
to have a strong talking
like,
to.
did you not edit this? Did you not review this before saying, okay, here's a multi-million-dollar film, please give us money to watch it?
Yeah.
Bless you. Like, it was... That's
funny.
bad.
Yeah.
It's one thing having bad acting, it's another thing having a bad story, bad costume, bad whatever.
The Happening was not a good movie.
It was a good
Bless
blessing.
you.
It was a good
interesting premise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
The delivery was left a lot to be
Bless
desired.
you.
Bless you.
especially the fact that I'm seeing their sound equipment
Yeah.
coming into frame.
Yeah.
Like that's
a reason to have a reshoot.
it's almost
Right.
it's almost comical. It's like, we know the movie's shit. I don't care.
Oh no.
It's just gonna be like the camera turns off screen for a second. The guy's sitting there like eating Doritos and he rushes off. Okay, the Truman Show. He opens the door he wasn't supposed to.
Oh yeah.
And it shows everyone recording like,
Yeah, I have an appointment at Gable Enterprises. They went bust. What's happening?
shit, and then they put like a wall right in front of it.
Oh man.
But like, this is a finalized movie that got approved by whoever with the production, the production company, the studios, the directors, the editing. Anyone
It got past
could have said like,
yeah.
"Oh, make sure you take that out."
Mr. Shyamalan, I just it has the came in.
I'm wondering if I'm making
No,
fun
no,
of this,
okay.
and there's actually like a reasoning for it behind, like, "Oh yeah, we did it just to make sure that you understand that this isn't real or something." I don't know. But,
Yeah, right.
But it was just like you're watching a film,
Yeah.
and you're seeing that is orange. Is this cup? I'm seeing this microphone cover.
Yeah.
Just come down, like.
Yeah. And what I'm gonna go
It makes me
back.
want to watch The Happening now.
I know, right? And so
Well, I'm pretty sure they edited it out because it came.
for after digitally.
Because I
took
think
it
I
out
remember
now.
seeing like bits and pieces on TV,
Yeah.
and I was like, I wonder if it's still there.
Yeah.
You know, like looking for that golden goose egg.
So going back to that, that could be, an editing thing where they're like, oh man, we didn't catch this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not just like, hey, let's tweak this.
Yeah.
Or let's put that. It also might be like, oh shit, did you see that? Somebody left their freaking tennis shoe in the background there. You know what I mean? Which nowadays you can take out digitally, but if you have the cast still there, if you have the set still there, why not just reshoot it? You know what I mean?
And I know that's a point that Tim made to me when we initially talked about the Starbucks Cup kind of thing, was because like the directors were also in that same. I don't think it was the same shot, but like the same time frame of when they're shooting those scenes, and like that's when they were acting as extras in the background. And it's like, so they were just.
Even
yes, I know you
worse,
have
right?
sometimes different directors for the scenes and them as the writers, but still they would have to have some kind of governance over it, some kind of purview where it says like this needs to be this way.
Yeah.
And since they're lollygagging because it's the final season, like you got a Starbucks cup, well shit, let's add a second one.
Yeah.
What? So.
Yeah, which I mean, those things I guess can happen when you lose focus a little bit. You know what I mean? So.
I mean, how much money was each episode though?
I don't even.
And it wasn't just the last season. It was like there was this album that I was looking at or whatever, like just a group of pictures, and it was like, okay, here's a laptop thing. Here's somebody's like
Really?
thermos.
Yeah.
Yes, like it was a lot of stuff. The laptop one sticks out to me because it was Jamie
It's-
sitting down, like leaning against a tree, and I don't know what happened before, but whenever they were shooting, there was like a laptop charger right next to his leg, and it was like plugged in somewhere behind the tree.
Yeah.
And it was before, I think it was before he lost his hand.
Do trees have outlets? Do they have Wi-Fi too?
I think so. Or maybe that's what he was doing on his laptop.
Yeah.
Well, because I remember in this scene, like he was hugging Cersei, and like his hand was there. That shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
I just remember like those two big, huge ones for the last season. But.
Yeah. And
Anyway, so how do we get here? Reshoots Han Solo going back to episode 9.
but what I liked was you brought up the fact, how much did each episode of the last season of Game of Thrones cost? I'm not too sure offhand, but
And it was in the millions.
it was in the millions, right? And so what I'm wondering is how much did each episode of The Mandalorian cost?
Oh yeah.
Because it looks fantastic.
Oh, it looks amazing.
It does. And Micah, I want to
And
give
this
you...
is it
I
looks
wanna give you-
amazing from the footage
Right.
that we're not supposed to have seen.
I want to give you some kudos here because you came up with the idea. We should have...
I know.
we should have
Hear that? The Earth is opening up.
We should have a segment from now in each podcast up until The Mandalorian is released on Disney Plus called... What do you want to call it?
Running with the Mandalorian.
Under the Mandalorian's helmet.
That's a lot.
That's too much.
That's a lot.
What did you say, Sarah?
Running with the Mandalorian.
We got a segment called Running with the Mandalorian. So...
You're giving me credit, but you're not allowing me to name this.
Yeah, because that was a
too many
course.
words.
I don't like the name.
That was a lot of words.
Yeah, too many.
Maybe
syllables.
under the helmet.
I was. God damn it!
Sarah, that was really awesome.
Right, I know.
So we're gonna call it Under the Helmet. This segment dedicated to the Mandalorian called Under the Helmet.
Or it can be Who is Pedro?
No, Under the
Vote for
Helmet. We got 3 council members here.
Okay.
Who wants
Oh,
to vote
shut
for
your mouth,
Under the Helmet?
You want? Okay. All right. It doesn't matter to me.
Oh, I'm wearing sunglasses. You can't see my eyes roll.
Thank God.
But the tension is palpable.
Yes. Did you say Palpatine?
Palpable.
Palpable.
Pimpatine.
Pimper Palpatine.
Palpatine. Well,
I didn't realize Pimper Palpatine was making his appearance again, but
yes.
hello, sir.
Good sir.
I love democracy.
So, what do you guys think of Pedro Pascal being selected to be the Mandalorian?
I still don't know who it is.
Oh,
You still don't know who that
Who
is.
is he?
He came out on Game of Thrones.
Okay. Oh!
The
he's
Viper.
Oberyn.
Oberyn Martell.
Oh,
The
okay.
Viper.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Viper.
yeah,
We were talking about
Yeah,
this.
I know.
When I
but
thought he was
now
saying
I know.
Viper as in Top
Now
Gun.
she knows she knows.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. You might not recognize him if he has his eyes in.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Too soon.
Too soon. That was
Yeah.
still...
That was
Maybe
horrific.
one more year.
was-
That was the first time because I remember I was watching on my phone, streaming it through the HBO Go, and I draw the phone. I was like, "Oh shit!"
That
Say
was
it.
brutal.
You raped her. You murdered her.
You killed our children.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So that's Pedro Pascal.
Okay, I'm down.
Did you see Triple?
He-
He was in Triple Frontier on Netflix as well. If you haven't seen it, really good movie.
He was Agent
Could he be?
Whiskey, I think,
Oh.
on Kingsman 2, second one, The Golden Circle.
Did he come out?
Really?
Yeah,
I haven't seen that one. I've only seen
either.
the first one.
It's really good.
you can
Is
look
it?
at it
It's
later.
really... No!
But
I think he was
I'm already
whiskey.
on IMDb.
Yeah, he was whiskey because Channing Tatum was tequila.
you know, and we got a few.
The Statesman, is that what they called him? Anyway,
Yeah, the Statesman.
We got
Pedro
a few,
Pascal.
We got a few morsels, nuggets, whatever you want to call it,
Chicken
from
Chips.
Chips and Dips from
Fish and chips,
No.
mate.
a couple of months ago from not San Diego, from where were they at? Chicago, right?
Chicago.
From Chicago Celebration.
Chi-Town Bears.
Oh, yeah.
Bear
Yeah.
Down. Sorry.
And Pedro Pascal, they stopped him. Sarah, maybe here in the near future, you can try to
Trying to
wrangle.
get in touch.
Yeah, get in touch with Pedro Pascal, and maybe we can have an interview with him here. But what we're gonna play for you next is a little bit about what Pedro Pascal thinks about the Mandalorian thus far. Okay, so let's just hear what he has to say.
I was born in 1975, so these movies shaped our childhood, and from the stories to the toys, and so I am an inevitable fan of Star Wars, and so the meeting that I had with John about this project and being taken into a room that was wall-to-wall story illustrations of the most, Star Wars stuff that looks better than all the Star Wars stuff I've ever seen. Sorry, but that's how good it was, and it's surreal. It's a strange thing to be brought into something that's a part of your childhood imagination. Now that streaming services are creating all this different kind of content, to be a part of the first Star Wars venture of that medium is phenomenal. I've already been blessed to be a part of some pretty amazing television, and so this tops it. I'm still sort of coming to terms with what's happening, because at the moment it's just a matter of receiving the love and joy that everyone is experiencing over something that is your job. So when I walked out and I saw everybody and got to say that I was the Mandalorian, I just hope I don't screw it up. It was totally overwhelming. There was this moment where, after we previewed this teaser / pseudo trailer thing, because there's so much more to come.
So he's a fan, right? From childhood. So being able to play a part in Star Wars, he seems very excited about it. You know what I mean? He seems very soft-spoken, but at the same time, you can feel that. To me, you can feel that excitement just right under the surface. You know what I mean? And he's saying, when he walked into the studio or wherever they were at, the office, that there was just panels of storyboards or pictures, and he was blown away. You know what I mean? He's saying better than what he's seen in the past. So, and we got a sneak peek at the Chicago celebration, Star Wars celebration, and I was excited when just a little peek that we got. You know what I mean? I'm wondering if they're going to have any kind of trailer for it they are, right?
I think they actually, they officially said, look for some content from The Mandalorian at Disney's D23, like the Disney Expo.
At the end of August, right? August 23rd.
I think it's sooner than that.
I thought it was like the 18th.
Maybe
we talked about
something like that, right? We talked about
soon.
Soon, right? Sometime in August.
Mid-August.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see
what even just like the bootleg stuff, like the people who aren't supposed to be recording, like, here's a screen. I'm not doing nothing. Look at their phone.
Yeah.
Like, even seeing the messed up angle, it's like, oh my god, that looks awesome.
For real, right?
I'm so blown away by. I don't think it's supposed to be IG88. I think it says IG12,
11
or 11. But just seeing him shoot somebody, and then his whole body does a 180, without his legs moving. His whole body just pivots, spins around as a 180, then shoots 2 more times. I was like, oh shit! This is awesome. Yeah. The whole thing. And then we have Carl Weathers. We have, what's that? The wrestler? The woman?
She's going to be next.
No.
In our next podcast, she's going to be the highlight. Okay. I did Pedro Pascal today. Okay. She'll be our next highlight on our next podcast.
Either way,
on our Under the Helmet Mandalorian segment.
Either way, what I mean is that this isn't just a one big named actor.
Yeah, we have
or
several.
actress there. Like this is like it looks like a full cast.
And we're talking about Jon Favreau.
Yep.
Kind of like helming this project. And the other thing I kind of wanted to mention, I don't know if I put it in the script or not, but I did want to mention this also. Miss my script, right? Was
where's it at?
That they're already shooting season 2.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Of this thing. Not okay. It's
So
it's in pre-production.
I think it was like a soft approval.
Yeah.
For season 2, just because how much money does it cost?
Yeah.
It's easier because you have that materials instead of going back from scratch before episode 1 or season 1.
Yeah, and season 1 hasn't even come out yet.
Yeah.
They don't know if fans are going to like it or hate it. I'm assuming that they have, knowing that it's going to be.
Gina Carano.
Yeah, and she's a great. From what I've seen, the movies that she's been in.
She's in one of the Fast and Furious.
Yeah, she did a great job.
Fast and Furious 5, I think. Fast 5.
But I'm sure they have people that have watched it
and said hell yes.
And said, yeah, you got to keep going with this. Whether it's like a control group or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe of people that are avid Star Wars fans, semi-Star Wars fans, and maybe people that really haven't watched Star Wars. I'm sure they have people watching this and saying, would you watch another season? Would you watch another episode? You know what I mean?
And that's the great thing with them expanding on now doing the TV shows on the Disney streaming service. Kind of like how they did episode 7. It's like you didn't have to watch any of the Star Wars. You could almost like get refreshed into the series, not knowing anything of it, watching episode 7, being like, I really like this. It might have touches of the prequels, it might have touches of the of the original trilogy, but it's enough to get you like, what am I watching? This is interesting, which is what they're trying to do. But this in itself has a different, completely. We know the time frame where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be post Return of the Jedi,
4 to 5 years.
But it's not the mainstream story. So if people like this are like, what else you got?
Yeah,
give me more. Not to mention the other stories that they're going to be doing. Covering other characters.
Yeah.
So.
I hope they touch on. I'm almost certain that it's going to be a time of lawlessness.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? The Empire has fallen. Right? There really is no republic. Right? You do have the rebels, but they're building the new republic. They don't really have like an army, So it's like, who's in charge? Nobody's in charge.
Especially too. Did they say they're going to be on Tatooine?
That I don't know. It seems like something like that, and hopefully there's so Tatooine. I forgot how many moons it has, of course, because this is fantasy based. I don't remember how many moons it has, but there's a moon called Nalhutta, where the Hutts are from, right? That is a moon of Tatooine, where the major gangster stuff happens. Yeah. Tatooine is actually just kind of like an off base of an extension of that moon crime syndicate.
The only reason I meant by saying Tatooine is because even then, the Hutts still just kind of did their own things. They were called gangsters in episode 1, The Phantom Menace. But it's kind of like you're doing your own thing, but it's kind of like, okay, I'm gonna, it's kind of like, trying to talk crap behind a fence, because at least the fence is there to stop you. When the fence comes down, it's kind of like, oh shit, this is a bulldog rushing me, or whatever. So now it's kind of like, if these guys really are, these bad A gangsters or whatever, and now you have no other real superior force, they're like, well, let's take this to the next level. You know what I mean? So it could be even worse than the lawlessness that we saw at Mos Eisley Cantina or whatever.
It could be because, like, let's say for instance that they do bring the Hutts into the Mandalorian along those lines, and we can get more into what we think this might have in it, what it's going to be all about, and stuff like that. But if they do things of that nature, it's kind of like it opens up so much, because in essence, the gangsters would be the
Kings.
not only kings, but like they would be the law
Yeah.
in wild space, quote unquote wild space, where Tatooine is located, and where Coruscant and the Jedi Temple is more at the center of the galaxy. Tatooine is kind of further out, where they have slavery and they have gangsters and spices that you're not supposed to partake of. Yeah. So who knows how that's going to... I could actually see them rioting on stormtroopers and just...
overtaking them.
You know what I mean? Yeah, because, it's like, well, what authority do you have over us? You didn't have authority over us already.
Yeah.
Much less now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it could be something really fun, and with them already pre-production in season 2, I'm even, I think Trent Westbrook, our dear friend who just had surgery, Godspeed to him, to a fast recovery.
Definitely.
I think Trent might be more excited about The Mandalorian than he is about
I remember him saying that, I think, on the show.
Right?
And I was like, got a point,
And, I think Pedro Pascal is a really great casting for that. Because it seems like he is going to be somebody that a character we've never encountered before, but he's still a Mandalorian. So did he steal this Mandalorian suit and is calling himself a Mandalorian? Is he a true Mandalorian from Mandalore? Yeah. And he went through all the wars, and up to this point, this is where his journey has brought him. Yeah. You know what I mean? So is he going to go back to Mandalore? Are we going to see Mandalore live action? We did in Rebels. Yeah. I know, Sarah, you didn't really watch Rebels, but on Rebels, there was many episodes where you got to see Mandalore, how, they interacted with each other and their customs and all that. Yeah. Are we going to get to see that in this series? You know what I mean? So there's so many things that can happen. Who's he related to? If he is a Mandalorian, is he related? Is he royalty? Did he split off from that royalty to become a bounty hunter because he didn't want that life? You know what I mean?
No, wasn't it because piggybacking off of Rebels, Mandalore's still kind of in shambles.
Yes.
Right?
Because of their
I know they had the Civil War, and you still kind of like the family still had a sense of prominence and stuff, but even then it wasn't like this real established thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like no, I don't think you get the reference. Never mind. Vin Diesel in the Chronicles of Riddick movie, like he goes from a home planet called Furia, and they're supposed to be like crazy bad mother truckers kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, like that would be really interesting to see. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Kind of like what you were saying, Lois, is that this is a new character that we don't know. We don't have any reservations about. We don't have any expectations. So we can truly appreciate what we see on the screen and stuff. But it would be interesting to have depth to that character. It's like he was supposed to be this next prominent, huge figure, but with the civil unrest and everything going on in his home planet, if he is true Mandalorian, that maybe he's had a name for himself, being a ruthless bounty hunter or whatnot. So
yeah, stop me if I'm wrong, Sarah.
Okay.
Sarah, stop him if he's wrong.
And he hasn't started talking yet.
He's breathing.
Did you see you saw some of the clips, right, from that we're talking about from The Mandalorian?
Is that why you're hiding under the helmet right now?
Yeah.
So
Don't talk to me.
Let me ask Micah then, because I think he can visualize in his head those short clips.
Okay.
It felt very Star Wars.
Yes.
Quote unquote.
It felt like what Star Wars should be.
Right?
Very gritty, very
a used
authentic
universe.
Yeah, like there was no question about it. It was just kind of like, what the hell has this been? Kind of like we haven't really been getting that feeling as of late. At least through the movies. So yeah, I see what you mean. I agree, and I don't know what else to say. Like, I'm super excited for it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're speechless?
He is without
He
speech.
is without words.
Wow.
This is incredible.
Words talking right now.
Not good.
Help, compute.
Need word. Danger.
Danger, Will Robinson, danger.
Sarah, I know you mentioned that it's almost like Disney's forcing you to get it.
Yeah.
Their streaming service.